because God did not make it, it cannot persist in my range of vision. Bring it back under the jurisdiction of God. This is what will break through the commitment you have had to physical definitions of your body. And this will break through what blocks the shift of perception that allows you to see the more of what's really there than you're presently seeing. The same thing is true whether we're talking about age or whether we're talking about disease or illness. It really is absolutely essential for there to begin to be what I'm going to call massive outbreaks of redemption, of healing, of the undoing of the evidence of age, disease, and death. But again, you're not going to see these massive outbreaks of redemption if you don't bring everything back under the jurisdiction of God. And as long as you think creation is governed by laws of physics, you're not going to see creation. You're not going to see redemption. It's that simple. Now, this is going to take some diligence because what? Are we overcoming the physical manifestations of age? Or are we overcoming and undermining habits of thought, patterns of thought, structures of thought that you bring your commitment to? Are we seeing or trying to change a physical world or change the mode of perception we're engaging in that determines what we see? Put yourself and everything you see under the jurisdiction of matter, and you're going to have birth, disease, death. Put it under the jurisdiction of God, and you will see heaven, you will see perfection, you will see the eternally perfect. That's going to take some discipline. Don't think that you haven't disciplined yourself into your current misperceptions. Now you say, whoa. Hey, I'm not making this happen. It's just life. It just happens. That's an indication to you of the nature and effect of discipline. When you use discipline to change your perception, you say discipline is hard work. But when you exercise the discipline and you get practice at it, you get practice at the new, so to speak, set of rules, the work involved, the effort involved in the discipline becomes easier and easier because it becomes established as a new pattern. Until finally you'll say, Why? It's all the kingdom of heaven. And it's just the way it is. Has nothing to do with discipline on my part. Yes, it does. Except that the experience of reality is not a matter of having a new set of beliefs or a new set of concepts that you have brought into place. The experience of the kingdom of heaven is what's left when you abandon your self-made definitions. And that's why reality is never freeze-dried. That's why reality is a forever movement, if I may put it that way. That's why you learn how to find the balance point on the wave, because being is a forever movement without rest of the sort that you get on dry land. You see? So it's taken discipline for you to find that effortlessly your body ages. It's taken discipline. And so now you're going to have to use discipline again. Persistent discipline. Find it worth your while to put your body and everything in your world under the jurisdiction of God daily. And then be alert so that when the temptation is there to see less than perfection without challenging it, be alert to that so that you can catch it and provide the challenge that says, I'm not supporting this. I'm not joining with it. I'm not bringing my confirmation to it, and therefore making commitment to it, and thereby making the lesser perfection concrete in my experience. Okay. Thank you.
We have a question from Matthew. Matthew asks, I want to thank Paul, Susan, and Chris for your awesome commitment. My question is about my current employment. If it is appropriate and God's will for me now, that's the question. And of course, I would appreciate your comments beyond yes or no, if that's okay.
Yes, it is going to identify fulfillment for you for a while longer. There is a need for you to not be impatient and not think that forward movement or climbing the ladder, the corporate ladder or the employment ladder more quickly. There is a need for you to let yourself be fully on the rung you're on and not get off of it before, for lack of better words, the lift you got by stepping onto that rung has matured you. Always before you can go from one step to the next or one rung to the next, you must let your full weight be on that rung. And there's value in that. There's a gift that that rung or that step provides you with. And it's important for you to receive the gift fully before moving on. It's really that simple. You haven't received the full gift yet. where you are. And part of the fullness of the gift that you're to receive is this learning not to rush so fast that you don't get the fullness out of where you are. That's the end of the answer.
We have a question from Heather O. Heather Nickerson is her name. She asks, what should I do about the relationship with my husband? Am I in the appropriate place with him? What needs my attention concerning this?
What needs
my attention concerning this?
You're right where you belong. I promise you it wouldn't be any better elsewhere. And what do you need to know right now? That a vibrant, significant, and meaningful relationship with someone is not achieved through competition, is not achieved by coming to a conclusion as to who's the boss. A vibrant relationship is not one that has electricity to it because there is conflict. The thing that both of you need to work on is more yielding to each other. I know that sounds scary. Yielding to each other doesn't mean becoming a doormat to each other. Yielding to each other means not relating to each other in a context of defense. It means not relating to each other in the context of self-protection. Now, very often, you feel like you're being treated like a child. And yet you're totally unconscious of the fact that very often you make him feel like he's a child. And the reason the two of you have this experience, which causes you to feel a need to self-righteously speak up on your behalf, you don't realize that you're having this experience of relating to each other because you don't know how to undefendedly be with each other. And you don't realize that your perception of him trying to be an authority, or his perception of you trying to be an authority, arises out of the picture you have of yourself, together with the picture you've created in your mind about him and him of you. For the most part, the vigorousness of your relationship is not the two of you reacting to each other, but the two of you reacting to the picture the two of you have of each other. You see what I'm saying? I'm telling you that what you need to do is to, very simply, become more intimate. You need to become less defended. You need to be willing to abandon your knee-jerk reactions that cause you to see yourself as being challenged and needing to defend yourself, or your expectation that he will undercut you in some way and treat you like a child. Again, there needs to be more intimacy. Am I talking about sex? No. I'm talking about you and him standing in the same room together without any arrows ready to shoot. You're understanding what I mean. But what if you're willing to do that, but he isn't? Well, I'll tell you something. If you're ready to do it and he isn't, he'll continue to be miserable and you'll begin to feel better. And because you're not behaving in reaction to the picture you have of him, your behavior will change, and it will make it easier for him to change. Now, one might listen to what I've said and come to the conclusion that the two of you have a really strenuous relationship, and that's not correct. But I'll tell you something. There's opportunity for the two of you to have a relationship of fuller and deeper love and peace. And that's what I'm opting for. I'm opting for that for you. I'm standing with both of you on behalf of that. In other words, you have my support. Okay.
There's a question from Ron Eisen.
Yes.
He asks, I am attracted to healing through A Course in Miracles. How should I pursue this?
I will tell you that this is literally something you will have to ask the Father to unfold to you. There is no way you will be able to organize this activity into your experience. But by letting the desire be dear to you, by letting it be quietly sincere, and asking the Father to open the doors for you to embody love in this form, you will find it unfolding. I encourage you most firmly to insist from the beginning that everything about this activity unfold because God is responsible for it and not you. Is that too vague an answer? Not really. It's very specific. It's just that it doesn't give you a blueprint, and it doesn't give you physical steps to take. But what I'm describing is the way fulfillment of purpose becomes embodied in everyone's experience. It's the new way. It's the new paradigm. Thy will, not mine, be done. Let it happen. It is appropriate. It fulfills purpose for you. Okay.
We have a question from Ron's wife, Nancy. Nancy Eisen asks, I've been studying with the Hopi teacher for about 3 years. Please comment and advise on validity and usefulness of this for me at this time of my life. Sometimes I feel like it is a distraction, and I thank you for being available with us in this way. I love you.
There is still valuable learning in it for you. Part of the learning for you is how to discern between what is of value and what isn't, so that you might carry forward with you what is and leave behind what isn't, without ever calling into question the nature of the communion that you have experienced with this teacher, because there is much love there. When you see it as a distraction, it means that you're at a point where something is not fitting for you. And it's simply calling for you to recognize what it is so that it may no longer be validated by you, even though you persist with working with the teacher. You will never learn how to separate the chaff from the wheat if you're not in a field where both of them exist, right? If you go into a field of wheat and there is no chaff there, and there are no tares there, you will not have the foggiest idea of how to separate the tares from the wheat. You're having the opportunity here to learn how to separate the tares from the wheat without denying the field in which they're growing. You can learn to distinguish between what a teacher is saying that is valuable and isn't valuable without calling the teacher into question. This is very important. And that's one of the things that you are in the midst of learning. And that's why it's appropriate for you to be there. Okay.
Thomas Britt has a question. Thomas Britt asks, well, first of all, he says, my gratitude to you, Raj, Paul, Chris, and Susan, for making this gift. And my question is...
Are you sure, Christopher, that you're not just picking the messages that have your name in them? Continue.
I am very grateful to myself. That's Chris talking. So Thomas says,
you
thanks.
may read it again.
My gratitude to Chris, Raj, Paul, and Susan. Not in that order, but He says, my question is, I have been asking for God to show me his perspective whenever I can remember to ask. I don't think I've seen it yet, but how will I know what it is when I see it? Or will it be abundantly clear? Thank you.
Even if it isn't abundantly clear, it will be clear that there's been a shift of perception in your mind. It might be about something relatively inconsequential, but in other words, something that isn't going to change your life. But the experience, how can I put it? The experience will be unforgettable. It will be significant, and it won't escape your notice. One element that you'll find is always present is that you will feel loved. You will feel embraced. You will feel good. Not because you've hyped yourself into it, but just because suddenly you feel good in a wonderfully peaceful way. You will know that you are seeing something of what is real. Even if it's only that a flower you looked at resonated with you in a way you've never experienced before. You know what? It doesn't matter if you haven't yet experienced the Father's perspective. What matters is that you recognize that his perspective is available for you and that you persist in being curious to have the experience. This persistence thing again. None of you realizes the degree to which you are caught in mindsets. A persistence in seeing things the way you've always seen them. And again, the only way to undo the perspective, the picture you have of things that you're bound to, is by being curious to see beyond the boundaries of that perspective. Persistence, persistence, persistence. And I'm telling you that your persistence expressed in this area is exactly what is needed in order to wake up. Persistence is the only thing that will cut through an unrecognized conviction that you have that although talking to the Holy Spirit is a nice idea, for all practical purposes it's impossible. Or it won't happen to you. Maybe it happened to Paul. Maybe it happened to somebody else. But it won't happen to you. That's a mindset. It's a habit. And that's all it is. It's not the truth. The only thing that undoes a habit is persistence in valuing something beyond.